Do you hate your opponent playing overpowered field spells? Don't you just want to lock them out? Well, we're going to discuss how we're going to do it through Maximum Crisis. Hey guys, it's Tombox here. Welcome to another MST.TV good card discussion. Man, I really kind of stumbled through that one. But anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about field spell locking through Maximum Crisis. Now, there's one card that didn't get a lot of attention in Maximum Crisis, and I believe it is now called a Revolving Stage. This is kind of like a terraforming. It's a double terraforming if you do run multiple field spells, and it gives you an interesting mechanic to play with, which is to set field spells onto your opponent's side of the field. This is the second time that you can do this. The first time would be if you played Exchange and your opponent took your field spell and then they played it themselves. That's one way of doing it, but this way is kind of more directed and more in your control. Now, why am I saying that this actually locks at your opponent? Well, let's actually go into the card text and things that this particular spell card can combo with. The card states, set 2 field spell cards with different names directly from your deck to the field. Okay, one on each side, so you can eat it up. And then it has a lingering effect of, while either of those cards remain face down on the field, neither player can activate or set other field spell cards. So in other words, you lock them out. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like thinking, oh, why don't you just activate the card and then play your own card over it? Legitimate point. However, there are things that you can combo with to kind of annoy them. And what if you just choose not to flip yours? Your opponent has to commit cards to actually remove him now. And you can't just be like, oh, just play my Union Hanger over it and, I'll just be on my way. It's not going to happen because of other field spells that can lock them out. Think about back then, during the Dark World era. How did people lock them out of playing field spells? Well, they played Closed Forest. And think back to a couple sets ago in the Dark Illusions, we did get a field spell that didn't get any attention at all, and this is the Magical Mid-Breaker Field. This card is really annoying, let's actually read that card effect and why that combos so well. Activate this card at the start of your main phase 1 or 2. In other words, it has to be your first action. During each player's main phase 1, monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by their opponent's card effects. Also, neither player can target monsters that their opponent controls. You cannot activate or set field spell cards. In other words, think about the two effects combo together. First of all, the main phase already kind of sucked because neither player can actually pop stuff during main phase 1, which is okay. Gives Zodiac players a bit more, well, actually it kind of screws over Zodiac players, but Zodiac players do have Dryden that can use its effect in the battle phase, standby phase, just not main phase 1. True Draco players can obviously pop it during other phases because Masterpiece also has a quick effect to pop cards. But if you think about the main phase 1, you can't use Darkhold to clear the board to OTK, you can't use Raigeki, even Slumber. Kaiju Slumber won't even work until main phase 2. Think about that. That's actually pretty brutal. Well, actually, it would work, but it would only blow up your own board. And if your opponent still has a full board and you're giving them another Kaiju, well, that's not going to feel very good. But, okay, now let's think about the two cards in unison here. First of all, your opponent cannot activate any new field spells until both of these cards are face up. However, if you give your opponent the Magical Midfield Breaker, or the Magical Mid-Breaker Field, well, they can't, even if they activate it, they're still locked out of playing field spells. So, for decks like ABCs, they're going to be locked out pretty badly. If you could think about decks like True Dracos, they need the Dragonic Diagram to actually kind of flourish. So, this is a field lock, and if you give them Closed Forest, again, neither player can activate new field spells. You're just locking people out of the field zone completely, and it's eating up their zone, so it feels really bad. If you give them Closed Forest, even if they blow it up, they still can't activate another field card until like the turn after. So if you really hate field spells, or you hate your opponent playing field spells, that's one way to go. But let's actually go beyond just locking out of field spells now. The other ways that you can play is to actually play it so that you gain advantage over your opponent. Now, I know if you actually look it up, I believe the previous name for this card was a Festival Spinning. If you actually look it up, you can see that there are some crazy FTKs you can do with this using Gear Town. where you play one copy of your own field spell, and then you play Gear Town. You give your opponent the Gear Town, you pop the Gear Town, it goes to your graveyard, it will activate its effect, and then you will be the one gaining a new Ancient Gear monster out of the deck. And there's also other cards you can play too. Even Cosmo Town, if you so wish to give your opponent a Cosmo Town and not give yourself the Cosmo Town, you can pop the Cosmo Town and, well, I guess search a Cosmo card out of the deck. That being said, of course, the field spells that you do need to put out on the field has to be 2 different names, so it has a bit of restrictions. It's not super OP where you can just play the same field spell. That's why people are choosing to play the magical mid-breaker field, just so that it hinders their opponent while giving you yourself the advantage. Alright, so that's all I've got to say about this card for now. I want to hear what your thoughts about locking people out of field spells. I know it's going to be an upcoming trend, knowing that True Draco is going to be a very big thing, and I guess that True Dracos, because they do run field spells, they can tech this card themselves, and it also acts as additional terraforming. You do run the risk of locking yourself out of your own field spells if you do kind of unluckily dead draw several cards so that you can't activate it anymore. That kind of sucks. Normally you won't activate the magical mid-breaker field on your own side, so drawing it is a bit of a dead draw, but I don't know, maybe you want to protect your stuff during main phase 1. So let me know what your thoughts are down below about blocking field spells and everything like that. If you guys enjoyed this video, of course, hit me up with a thumbs up. Hit the notification squad if you do subscribe so you can stay up to date with my latest videos. And I got a lot of fun stuff coming up, and I really hope to share this with you guys. And as always, I'm gonna go cut to the end phase.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, drop a like and hit the left button over here to subscribe. Or if you want to check out another video from us in the past, click here on the right. And as always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.